comic has been burning the candle from both ends for way too long. Funny guy. Welcome, Marty Wilson. I'll hold it. All right. So yeah, as Gary said, I've kind of burned the candle at both ends. I sort of had a long corporate career, and I also had a long career as a musician. So I like to tell stories. So my first story takes place at a wedding reception. And I'm in the band. We're up on stage. Dance floor is in front of us. All the single ladies are coming onto the dance floor. And I noticed a few things about this. The bridesmaids were wearing this gown that was like a little bit off the shoulder, full length, right to the ground. Oh, very nice, yeah. There was one bridesmaid positioning herself right in the front row because we're going to do the bouquet toss. I will describe her as the Jerry Rice of wedding receptions. Okay, she's up there. No one's going to deny this girl. Drum roll, bride tosses the bouquet. Jerry Rice goes up. The gown goes down to the floor. Okay? A little embarrassing. So the leader of my band gets on the mic and goes, "We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back." Just to let everything settle. So I noticed that we had a video guy on this wedding, not just photography, but also video. So I walked up to him during the break and I said, "Hey, did you catch that on tape?" And he goes, "You bet." So at that moment I thought, there are going to be two versions of this wedding video. The family-friendly, no Jerry Rice episode, and the completely unedited version that is now in my personal video collection at home. Okay? So here's a corporate story. When I first got out of school, you're in your early 20s. Worked for a small research firm. A lot of my colleagues were about the same age. A mix of men and women, not just all men. And there was one girl in particular, I will refer to her as Hottie, because she was. Was she shapely? Curvy? She was both. So, we're having our holiday party. Hottie decides to show up wearing this extremely skin-tight, tiny black cocktail dress that leaves nothing to the imagination. So I'm looking over at her, and the VP of HR comes over to me. He goes, "Marty, if that's not sexual harassment, I don't know what is." And I said, "Oh, I know what is, and she's the poster child." So, something personal I will share with you about me. I hate church. I'll tell you why. I'm 7 years old. My family's Catholic. My mom turns to my dad on a Saturday afternoon and goes, "Marty's never gone to confession. You need to take him right now." So my dad and I go down to the church. I go into the confessional. Now, I don't really know what I'm doing in there first time. Everyone knows there's a little prayer that you say to the priest. I didn't do that. I did this. "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned." I mean, at the top of my lungs, okay? And he goes, "You don't have to shout. I can hear you." I said, "Okay." I say my little confession. I walk out of the confessional, walking towards my dad. He's looking at me with this expression on his face that only says, "What the fuck was that?" So we get in the car, we're driving home, silence. Complete silence. I'm thinking, all right, I'm in trouble. We get home, my mom goes, "So, how'd it go?" And my dad goes, "You will not believe what your son did at church this afternoon." Now, the nice outcome of this story is that I never had to go to confession ever again. I never wanted to go in the first place. Mission accomplished. So I have one more church story for you. It has to do with my family. My brother has 2 young boys. Jeff was about 11 at the time. Little Chris, 6 years old. They're in church. They're listening to the sermon. Now, you know how little boys are. Like, they kind of can't keep still. So they start kind of like poking at each other, like that. My brother turns and goes, "Stop it. Listen to the sermon." So they stopped for about a minute, maybe. And start up again, poking at each other, kicking everything, punching. My brother says, "I told you to stop it. Listen to the sermon." So they stopped for about a minute. Okay. Then they start doing it again. My brother goes, "That's it." And little Chris goes, "But Dad, Jeff just punched me in the dick." True story. He said that in church. You gotta love my family. Thank you very much.